Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is another installment of Catch Up Quick. It's a top of the hour mini-series we like to do where we catch you up on Atlanta's top headlines and some weather that you'll need to know about. First, I always like to start these off with taking a look outside. A beautiful skyline as we take a look at, for many of us, our home. If you are watching this and you are not from Atlanta, welcome. We are going to get you caught up on what's been happening here in the metro. Starting with this, the judge overseeing the Georgia 2020 election interference case has dismissed some counts against former President Donald Trump. This news coming less than 24 hours after Georgia's presidential primary and Trump unofficially clinching the Republican White House nomination. Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm is in Fulton County with the latest.
In a court order, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee wrote that 6 of the many counts in the Georgia election interference case against former President Donald Trump and his co-defendants must be quashed. 3 of the charges being dismissed are against Trump himself. The charges in question involve alleged efforts by the defendants to solicit elected officials to violate their oaths of office, including 2 charges related to the post-2020 election phone call Trump made to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. In his order, McAfee writes that prosecutors erred in the wording of parts of the indictment, noting in part, as written, these 6 counts contain all of the essential elements of the crime, but fail to allege sufficient detail regarding the nature of their commission, i.e. the underlying felony solicited.
And for all my commuters out there, a lane closure you are going to want to be aware of if you are driving through Sandy Springs. You probably already know about this. Major lane closures now in place, and they are causing headaches for drivers. Let's talk about it. Atlanta News First Don Shipman went to Mount Vernon Highway and Johnson Ferry Road where the paths cross one another, and he says the area is being completely reconfigured.
Orange cones and barriers now funnel drivers into one lane of traffic along Mount Vernon Highway and Johnson Ferry Road in Sandy Springs. A traffic nightmare for drivers like Jordan Luck, who works nearby.
Around rush hour, I get off around 5, so it gets a little nasty around here, so I hope they open it up a little bit.
The lane reductions happening in both directions between Roswell Road and Boylston Drive. A view from the First Alert chopper, this new phase of the construction project includes reconfiguring what many have described as a Bermuda Triangle of roads, an area ripe with bottleneck conditions.
The crossover of Mount Vernon and Johnson Ferry at Boylston will be gone. Mount Vernon and Johnson Ferry will be 2 completely separate roads, and we are building a new connector road in between the library and Mount Vernon Presbyterian Church, and that's where motorists will cross over.
The goal to ease congestion along both Mount Vernon and Johnson Ferry as well as Roswell Road. While the entire $15 million project, which is the result of months of community input and study, is slated to take until 2026, this phase runs through August. City officials say expect shifting lanes for the next 6 months.
Please bear with us. If you can avoid the area, please do.
I walk a lot.
When all is said and done, it'll be safer for pedestrians too. New, wider sidewalks are going to be installed with added connectability to existing multi-use paths. A welcome improvement for people like Catherine Kyle, who walks through this area daily.
I have to walk down this way for an appointment, so I'm just going to see what's going on. But yeah, the last couple of days it's been a little bit hairy over here.
And victories are in order in Georgia, Mississippi, and Washington state, setting the stage for November's presidential election. Today, President Biden kicked off his back-to-back trips to multiple states throughout the Midwest, first traveling to Wisconsin and then Michigan, which is set to take place tomorrow. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump is expected to rally in Ohio over the weekend. Jared Hill with our partners at CBS News has the latest.
The stage is set for the 2024 presidential election after President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump won enough delegates to become their party's presumptive nominees in yesterday's primaries.
We have to win an election, and we should win it by a lot, because there's never been anybody worse at doing that job than Joe Biden.
In a statement claiming victory, the Biden-Harris campaign described Trump's campaign of one of, quote, resentment, revenge, and retribution that threatens the very idea of America. It's a message Vice President Kamala Harris echoed yesterday in Colorado.
The former president has told us who he is. It's on us, then, to recognize the threat he poses.
Both candidates swept Tuesday's primaries in Washington state, Mississippi, and Georgia, now a crucial battleground where Trump holds a slight edge in a new CBS poll.
This is a big state that is considered really important, and I just think that it's going to be even more important than it was last time.
Though both sides will also have to work to win over voters who are not thrilled to see a Biden-Trump rematch.
I would love to see our country represented not by someone in their 80s who's a white man.
Today, President Biden kicks off back-to-back trips to multiple states in the Midwest, first traveling to Wisconsin, then Michigan tomorrow. Trump is expected to rally in Ohio over the weekend. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now, there is another big primary voting day next Tuesday, with voters headed to the polls in several other states, including Arizona, Florida, and Ohio. Presidential politics aside, there are also some crucial nominating contests in those states that will likely affect the battle for control of the U.S. Congress. We, of course, are going to stay on top of this for you. Join us at 1:30 p.m. with all of your Georgia political headlines and a full recap of presidential primary here in the Peach State. All right, this one has a lot of people talking since news broke this morning. The House passing a bill that would lead to a nationwide ban of the popular video app TikTok. That is, if its China-based owner doesn't already sell it. Lawmakers are acting on concerns that the company's current ownership structure is a U.S. national security threat. The bill passed this morning by a vote of 352 to 65. It now heads off to the Senate. If it moves forward, President Biden says he intends to sign it. We'll stay up on top of this as soon as we learn of that Senate decision. We will let you know on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. And a big day today here in Georgia, a chance to celebrate our HBCUs. It is HBCU Heritage Day. Governor Brian Kemp is expected at the state capitol, along with State Senator Sonia Halpern and other members of state leadership. They will hold a press conference to celebrate and acknowledge the importance of Georgia's 10 historically black colleges and universities. Students and presidents of these Georgia HBCUs will also be in attendance. You can count on us to stream that live for you this afternoon at 1:30 p.m. on the Atlanta News First app. In the meantime, this has been another edition of Catch Up Quick. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't emphasize enough, we want to keep you updated on all the news that's happening here in the Metro. Download the Atlanta News First app so you can stay in the know wherever you may go. Have a great day. We will catch you here later tonight for another installment of Catch Up Quick and a look at your forecast.